One of the things that's been out in the news recently that affect you and me, everybody who supports us, and those who may be thinking about it, is the Ohio legislature, the Ohio General Assembly, has passed Senate Bill 193, which in essence keeps the Libertarian Party off the ballot for this year. I'm thinking. And we got a petition to get back on the ballot for the fall if we want on, and we got to get at least probably 75,000 or 80,000 signatures so that 28,000 are valid. Okay, because we know they'll be very stringent in what they allow or not. Now, this was a totally Republican effort.
Didn't we nickname it the John Kasich Re-Election Protection
Act?
Act?
Exactly. That's what we named it. Because oddly, we say, coincidentally.
What a coincidence.
They announced the bill, Senator Seitz announced the bill on the very day we announced our candidacy in Tiffin, Ohio, at the North Central Ohio Conservatives Tea Party meeting. And it came out that day. And coincidentally, the governor signed it the day after Robert Sarvis got a significant vote in Virginia. I think that was coincidental because they had it on a fast track and it just so happened it came out that way. But nevertheless, they're doing everything they can to keep us off the ballot. Right. Well, we have filed in federal court to ask for relief because of the time constraints. We've already been campaigning, we've already been petitioning, collecting things, and they put these stringent requirements on us that, in essence, is not going to allow us to have a primary.
Right.
And we're being denied a right, but more importantly than you and I being denied a right to run as libertarians, is voters are being denied a right for an opportunity to vote somebody other than those other two.
Well, I think what is also evident is by denying a primary for libertarians, since that is the only way Ohioans can register to affiliate with the party, they are denying Ohioans the right to choose anything other than being Republican or Democrat.
The right to assembly. They've just undermined a constitutional principle, a constitutional amendment. And they know what they're doing because they set the dates up so forth to make it more difficult for us and all that kind of thing. But what we want people to know is, despite all the snow job that they're doing out there, despite all their efforts to keep us down, we're coming on and we're coming at you. Now, we hope to do it as libertarians because that's who we are. But it may be that we'll have to file as independents. If that's the case, we will put together a coalition and make them quake in their boots. I'm serious. We will make them fearful, and it'll come back to bite them in a place they're going to feel it. And you can add that in if you want to.
You know, as a matter of fact, I think it's hysterical that the Libertarian mascot, which most people aren't aware of, because here in Ohio we use the Statue of Liberty.
Right. I got it right on my tie.
Right. And it is very appropriate because give us you're tired, you're poor,
Yearning to be free.
That would be nice.
That'd be us.
But the porcupine is a purely defensive animal. And we never complained about the fact that we have to gather so many signatures to be on the ballot, which really is nothing more than a poll tax. Because before Charlie and I can even begin campaigning, a significant portion of our funds has already been spent in trudging the sleet, snow, and rain to gather signatures. Right. 58,000 signatures, bottom line. Isn't that right?
Well, yeah, it's 28 this year and then 58 years after.
Right.
But the point is, we can't start till late spring to do them this year. Or they won't count them until July.
So how many months does that give us to
that's
run
4 or
as
5, but the
libertarian?
point is we won't know until mid-July whether or not we qualify for the ballot.
Right. And
So
I
there
think
you go.
it's hysterical that their talking point, though, is, oh, well, libertarians only have to get, 5 signatures to run is what they'll say for the local offices, which
yeah.
is true. It's a wonderful, talking point that they wrote into the but, and the 58,000.
No, never mind that. That's just for the party to get on the ballot.
Right.
So, of course, we're challenging that in court because it is excessive. But if the court doesn't look at it favorably, our other two options are to wait till July to see if we qualify, and we know they won't be the most liberal in interpreting the signatures and things of that nature. And the other option is to consider before May 5th as filing as independents. I'd rather not do that because I think that we need an alternative to the two parties, and running as an independent ticket is just a one-shot deal. It's only good for this election, and then it ends. I think there should be a standing challenge to the two parties that now think they own everything in Ohio.
Well, and not only that, but they're funded by the government that they sustain, whereas libertarians don't get a dime of this.
Right,
Is
their
that
national
right?
conventions get money from the federal government. Also, cost sharing for campaigning, they get that. Your tax dollars, even if you disagree with them. If you're one of the 54% of Ohioans who does not belong to either one of the old parties, your tax dollars are funding their campaigns and their conventions.
That's not right.
That's not right.
That's
And
taxation without representation.
that's representation without representation because they don't represent you or me or us.
Right.
And we want to change all that. And so, we can't give you a plan of action right now. All we can ask you is to be bold, to stay with us, because once we come up with the best solution, and we'll wait to see what the court says, once we come up with the best solution, then we're going to put it in high gear, and we're going to go from here, and we're going to be bold, Ohio.